Well, everybody, in this video, I'm going to address why exactly the Rodecaster video is not the ATEM killer, and I'm going to explain that. While there are more creative podcasters and YouTubers out there, and they're reviewing the Rodecaster video, and they are actually doing a really good job, there are some of them that are touting or lauding the Rodecaster video as the ATEM killer. And they're doing their reviews and they're going through a lot of the features that are really good features. And I'm going to just read off some of the features that the Rodecaster is offering. But the fact of the matter is that when they're actually talking about the Rodecaster, they are leaving out a lot of the key features that the Blackmagic ATEM has, and that's what I'm going to go over to share with you why the Rodecaster video, while it is a good piece of gear, and and while it will fit into the podcasting gaming arena in its lane, it simply is not the ATEM killer. It just isn't. But before we do that, before I go into all that, let's just take a look at what some of the key features are. And I'm going to put this on here real quick, and because this little road thing is part of what their features are good with. So before we get into the ATEM itself, let's take a good look here at the Rodecaster video. It's priced at $11.99, which is a fair price. We have the hardware interface that it shows. It's very sleek and very simple. I find it to be a little more complicated than what everybody's talking about, simply because you have to go through with the settings and the audio and everything. You got to go through the little touchscreen. It's not very big, and you got to use the dial. So that I personally like the ATEM setup better, but it shows the back end of it where you have your HDMI and USB connections and your XLR connections for audio, and then again the form factor view. So when we are talking about the key features, it can switch up to 6 videos, which, my ATEM that I'm using is the ISO Extreme, or the Extreme ISO, and it can switch up to 8 videos. And as a matter of fact, let's just take a quick look at that right now. What I'm going to show you is a side view, and the fact is that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is just a little bit echoey, because I'm going to show you this wireless Go 2 with the Rodecaster Pro 2. And this is each of my tabs. So here we have the wide view. Here we have my close-up from the front here. And here we have the wide view from the front. Here I have my tablet that is connected right there with a USB to HDMI adapter. And here we have my teleprompter that is on this screen right here in front of me. And not only will this HyperDeck shuttle do teleprompter work, it can play videos for stingers and such. And so that's another aspect. And then we have the top, nope, that's my actual interface on my computer. And we have, let me think here, the top-down view. Okay, so here again is the HyperDeck shuttle and the teleprompter that I have. So continuing on with the list of the things that the Rodecaster video can do, we're looking at the 6 video sources 7 fully customizable scenes at the press of a button, CPU and video auto processor. By the way, Rode has done a fantastic job at integrating and creating an audio ecosystem for podcasters and creatives. And that is what they're really, really, really strong in. And so when they come out with this Videocaster, they obviously have done an awesome job. But their ecosystem is in the realm of the audio. And their Rodecaster video audio is basically the same as what it would be on the Rodecaster Pro 2. And so their preamps and their computering, their processing of the audio is really second to none. And this is where the Blackmagic ATEM really does drop the ball when it comes to the input of the audio, not the interface itself, not the mixing. I still think that the ATEM has a stronger point, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But we're gonna get into that. Let's just keep going here with the list of things. It has 2 flexible USB ports that can be mapped, which is good. 2 studio grade combo jacks, that is XLR and 1/4 inch. Dual wireless receivers. This is good. This is an exciting aspect of the Rodecaster video. Of course, the Rodecaster Pro 2 will also integrate wireless mics, such as the wireless Go 2, which I have here right now. I have integrated. Let's go down to the top down. There we go. I have the wireless Go 2 right here. You can see both of these blue lights are lit. One is for the on and one is for the connection, and they're connected. And this is what it sounds like through the Rodecaster Pro 2 and by itself. And so now I'm talking into the Rodecaster, the Rode Wireless Go 2. And it is seamlessly integrated into my Rodecaster Pro 2. Also, in the Rodecaster Pro 2, I can Bluetooth my tablet for audio. So when I'm playing a video, let's say I want to reference something on YouTube or some other video or whatever, I can actually Bluetooth, and I do, my Bluetooth connection here on my tablet to the Rodecaster Pro 2. And so it seamlessly connects Bluetooth for video calls. I do video interviews using my tablet and the Bluetooth through the Rode, and that audio gets pumped into the live streams through my Blackmagic ATEM. So in that respect, the Rodecaster line of products is second to none when it comes to audio conductivity, and that I don't want to diminish in any way, shape, or form. So let's go back to the web page here for a second. Has a 2-inch. People say this is a huge touch screen on the Rodecaster video. It is not. It's a 2-inch high-resolution touchscreen. 2 inches is nothing. It would be nice if it was a 5-inch or a 7-inch and they could somehow integrate that to the top of the unit. Even the Rodecaster Pro 2 has a larger touchscreen than the video. So when you are integrating video and audio into a switcher, you would think that you would create even a larger touchscreen for your unit. That just, to me, makes sense. So the 2-inch touchscreen on the Rodecaster video is not a strong point in any way, shape, or form. Continuing on now, automatic chroma keying, effortlessly replacing backgrounds, which the ATEM already does. Media playback, graphics overlays, keying, transition, multi-source scenes, creation. All these things the Blackmagic has already done. Intelligent auto switching for seamless hands-free switching on video sources. Now this actually is a pretty cool idea. Now it's really cool except for one thing. what if I don't want to switch my audio with the person that's talking? Now, from what I could see, Rode has done an awesome job with this particular aspect, and it's really cool. But I don't always want to see the other person talking. Sometimes I want to show something on the screen, such as a presentation, or I want to show a group of people, or I want to show people listening to those who are talking. And so I think that a mix of who is talking on it and being able to control it manually in that regard, a mix of the automation and controlling it manually would be the perfect implementation of this particular feature, which from what I've seen, that Rode has done this very, very well as it stands. Record directly to an external USB storage device, which the ATEM already does. Remote control users assign graphics, media, and effects through Rode Central. And this is where the ATEM really does shine. So let's go through that for a moment. Let's take a look at what the ATEM does. Now, the Rodecaster video is going to be a great piece of gear if what you want to do is stream your gaming, just like the Rodecaster Duo or the Rodecaster X. All of them are awesome for what they do. They're awesome products for what they do. But the expandability, in my personal opinion, the expandability is not there. So, but so I have somebody saying that the touch screen size doesn't matter. It does matter if you are trying to manipulate video and audio at the same time, and you are needing to address things on the fly. To me, it does. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it doesn't matter to you. It does to me. Which is where if you have a touchscreen laptop or whatever, and you have the ATEM interface, then you have a much larger landscape aspect to work with. So in any case, let's take a look now at the differences in how the Rodecaster video is not the ATEM killer. Even though I believe that the Rodecaster video will be exactly what some people are looking for. Most of the things that the Rodecaster video is doing, Blackmagic has already been doing it for a while. It's just a matter of fact. They call it something different, but they're doing it. Their interface is different, and it should be. So I just want to make sure that before you spend your hard-earned money jumping at the latest, greatest thing, that you have information that you can think through to make the right decision for you. Because, frankly honest, you know, the ATEM may not be for everybody, and it certainly is not going to be. Of course, the Rodecaster video is not going to be for everybody either. And so that is why I'm doing this video. All the things that the Rodecaster video can do, the ATEM can do it. It's just how is it going to get done. So for the Blackmagic, the first thing you have is a complete ecosystem. And by that, I mean it is a complete ecosystem. The Rodecaster video is not yet mature enough to be a complete ecosystem for video and audio. The only thing that the ATEM is missing, and I mean the only thing that the ATEM is missing, is in fact the audio inputs that are XLR. That's it. In every other arena, the Blackmagic ATEM ecosystem outshines and is complete without having to do anything else as far as live broadcasting is concerned. So yes, and I understand I do understand that with the Rodecaster video, you can by USB plug in the Rodecaster Pro 2. But to me, that's redundant. Unless you have like if you have, so this is gonna, so that will be viable if you have, let's say, a roundtable discussion. If you have two or more people at the mics in cameras, if you up to four. So up to four, you could actually do it with a duo and get by with it because you have two inputs on the Rodecaster video that are XLR, and then the duo would have two inputs as well. So you could actually daisy chain through USB the Rodecaster video, excuse me, and the Rodecaster Duo or the Rodecaster Pro 2, which in fact is a good start for an ecosystem, but it's still not complete. And here's why. So for the first aspect of the Rodecaster ecosystem, you have the ability to tie in multiple computers through Ethernet to create, so that each person has the ability to change various aspects of the broadcast through the ATEM software control simultaneously. You cannot do that with the Rode. I've already checked. You have one person that can do one thing through Rode Central at one time, period. Okay, so let's take a quick wide view of what I'm talking about here. Let's go over to this camera angle here. I'm gonna come up with this mic here, with this mic here so you can hear me. There's just too much echo. So bear with me for a moment. Actually, let's go to this scene right here. So I'll keep this mic on. I'll come back here. So when you look on the screen at the bottom of the page, you have four tabs. Follow my mouse to the bottom. You have the switcher, which we're on now. If you have one computer like I have here, and I've done the multiple things, I just did an update on my ATEM and I just screwed up my networking, so I could not show you what I've done in the past with multiple computers. So if you have one person on this laptop and they are doing the switching with the T-bar or just using the buses and the auto right here, you can have one person doing the switching. You come down to another computer that is running the media side, and they are changing the media as needed, just like this, drag and drop. That's all you got to do is drag and drop your media. So then so you can change things like sourcing. Go back here, the other person can come back and take care of, let's go, box 2 will be camera 8. And so now you see my screen on camera 8. The other person can be going to the audio, and this is, again, where the Blackmagic ecosystem that nobody's talking about is already there. And I'm going to explain why this is very, very important. So you can have another person on yet another computer changing up the audio, tweaking it, and you have, within this system, you have the ability to bring in equalizers and the whole 9 yards. Here's your equalizer. Let's go back to this setup for a moment. You've got your equalizer, you've got frequency, you've got your low, your middle low, your high, middle high, and your high, your gain, your Q factors. You've got everything here at your fingertips that pertains to your microphone inputs from your camera and your mic, your line mics 1 and 2. You have everything that you need for your line in on this tab. And you can actually have a separate person now on this tab controlling the mics. So that's one of the ecosystem features. And then the other thing that is extremely important is that you can take any camera with SDI or HDMI in, and shove it through your ATEM switcher. But the cool thing is that with the ATEM, you have the ability, if you notice, well, I don't have cameras on now because, let's go back to Super Source, because then you can see camera 3 is on air, and I can go and I can change the aspects to camera 3. See, I'm changing it up right now. I can control my cameras through my ATEM switcher. See if I can get it back to where I had it. Let's go to gain. Let me do this real quick so I can see myself. Make sure my picture's clear. So I can control up to 8 cameras because I have 8 inputs. I can control up to 8 cameras through my ATEM if they're the Blackmagic cameras. And what I have here, just so you can see, come on, my mouse is far away from my, and what I have here, wrong one, are these two Blackmagic Micro Studio 4K G2 cameras, and it also controls the tally lights on the top. You cannot do this in the Rodecaster video. You cannot control your cameras, up to 8 of them, or whatever amount of cameras you have hooked up, either via SDI, micro SDI to SDI to SDI, or SDI to a HDMI converter, or you can, as I have them hooked up with two-way HDMIs. I think they're called eHDMIs or HDMI-E or something like that. I can control up to 8 cameras on the inputs of my ATEM, which helps to round out the ATEM, the Blackmagic design ATEM ecosystem. So what you have here with the ATEM is you have a variety of palettes, you have a variety of controls, you have a variety of audio and video controls, and then the Rodecaster video, people are saying, well, you can build scenes and you can layer. Well, you can do the same thing with the ATEM by going to the media here. You can control what goes into and out of your media inputs that are right here on the right. You can control up to 12 hyperdecks, which mine isn't connected because I screwed up the network connections. But this one. My hyperdeck shuttle serves as a hyperdeck, so I can actually play video stingers and whatever through the hyperdeck, and literally, let's go back to the and then from here, literally, somebody else on another computer can trigger the playback and stopping of the video input from hyperdecks. Now, if you go up to this wheel clog here on the right, you can go up to 10 hyperdecks at a time, and they will all be listed in the right-hand corner there where you see hyperdecks shown. You can control up to 10 different inputs from the hyperdecks. So you can have multiple people on a network controlling all these various aspects. So I could have one person just controlling this. I could have another person controlling the media input based on what I need to show as, and I don't want Freedom and Survival up there, I want Timothy's Enterprises. One person can be doing this. One person can be controlling the audio. One person can be controlling the cameras. And another person can be switching the cameras. And this is the genius of the Blackmagic ecosystem. But it doesn't stop there. It does not stop there. I want you to understand that when you have the very most basic ATEM, that the software interface is the same, and the software connection shows you and knows which ATEM you are using. Whoop. Let's go back to products, go back to this. And the software knows which ATEM you're using. So if you're using one of these ATEMs right here, and you decide that you're going to expand, let's say that your vision is to build your studio from a one-man operation like I have now, and let's say I want to build out a studio that has a one-man set over here, a two-man set over here, a chairs and a couch over here, a news desk over here, whatever it is. A broadcast system, I want to do live broadcast day after day after day, and I want to upgrade my equipment. Regardless of what ATEM I use, all of the aspects on the control page, all of those tabs that I showed you, are transportable into the new or the higher end equipment. But it doesn't stop there. The ATEM actually, as you record onto an SSD or an NVMe with a USB-C enclosure, if you record it, it records an entire DaVinci Resolve project for you and automatically syncs your video onto the DaVinci Resolve timeline. So that you can change your videos up and create segments of your videos. You can change the title so that you can broaden or contract your video for the aspects that you want to push out, the strengths. Let's say I just want to do a video on the audio side of the ATEM right now. I can pull out what I've talked about the audio. If I want to show you just the camera control aspect of the video, I can pull that out and create different videos for uploading into my channels. Furthermore, when you do that and you record through your HyperDeck or through the ATEM to the Blackmagic cloud, they now have the ATEM video replay controller. What do they call it? The replay with DaVinci, the broadcast replay with DaVinci Resolve. So you can have yet another person on another computer with DaVinci Resolve up, linked to the Blackmagic cloud. As you record live and it records to the Blackmagic Live, it writes each of those streams of 1 through 8 of your ATEM onto the DaVinci Resolve timeline. And with this controller, you can replay any aspect of whatever timeline, whatever layer on the timeline you want to. You can use this controller to pump it through one of your inputs on your ATEM and do an instant replay live using your ATEM. That you can't do that with the Rodecaster video. I'm sorry, you just can't do that. Now, if you want to upgrade, let's say you want to build your studio out and you want to create a complete audio recording studio, you have the option to bring in these consoles, and the same thing with coloring. Same thing with broadcasting. Just keep on scrolling here. and you can integrate all of these products from Blackmagic Resolve and your interfaces that you learned, from this little controller right here, all the way through the ATEM Extreme ISO, all the way through the television controllers. Let me just get to them. From these controllers all the way through the television controllers, and then you want to get into coloring and the whole 9 yards, it all just fits like a glove. So you can go from a single person broadcasting like I'm doing right now. You can go from this single person broadcasting to a full-fledged broadcast studio. And when you implement new equipment from the Blackmagic line, from cameras, from the cameras, from any of these cameras that hook up through HDMI, studio cameras, the micro camera that I have here, 2 of them, all the way through, and you create a broadcast studio. And then you create an editing bay with DaVinci Resolve in the instant playback controller and the speed editor. And you create a color bay to do feature films and documentaries. And you create a Fairlight audio control room, an audio recording room, and an audio editing room. All of your interfaces, in other words, you can learn from the basics and then just step into those roles as you increase your capabilities. Now, I'm not saying that Rode's not going to go there, but the Rodecaster video is not the ATEM killer. It just isn't. It's not mature enough to be. And for podcasters to say that it is premature, and it's clickbait. It's that simple. And I'm not saying the Rodecaster video is not a good piece of gear, because I think Rode does a fabulous job at creating what they create. But when you can take and record an XLM file and put it on even a DaVinci Resolve timeline, or recorded the DaVinci Resolve timeline instantaneously through the Blackmagic cloud, or you can take the XML file and transport your footage into Premiere even for editing. And you take all the aspects that I've talked about with Blackmagic, the Blackmagic ecosystem. And I'm sure I've missed some things. You cannot say that the Rodecaster video is an ATEM killer. It is not. It just simply isn't. And so, I just hope that I have given you enough thought and enough information for you to think through what you want for your podcasting, what you want for your live streaming, for what you want for your video recording, so that you can go back and redo things and have the ability to expand or not. And by the way, if you notice, I'm using, and what I think is the best of both worlds, I'm using the Rodecaster and the ATEM together. And I think with the Rodecaster Pro 2 for audio and the ATEM Extreme ISO for video, I think I've got the absolute best setup for a person starting out that has a mind to expand should the opportunities present themselves to where they're building up their channels and they want to expand, and they want to expand into other sets, larger venues, as well as live events and in remote broadcasting. Oh, and by the way, when you can have somebody in another city, as long as they have an internet connection and you have an internet connection, you can have somebody in another city with the IP address for your ATEM controlling your ATEM from another city in the world as well. You can't do that with the Rodecaster video. But in any case, I think that you know, you have, oh, and I forgot to mention the ability to where's my mouse? To come over here to the top into macros. Come on. Oh, my mouse isn't reaching my macros. You can come here and you can create various aspects of control for your ATEM software so that it will do things on a timed manner, or you can customize. You can customize what your ATEM software control is going to do at the push of a button. You can map it out. I forgot to mention that. So with all of that, within the ecosystem of the Blackmagic Design ATEM system, the ecosystem, you have the ability to start out like I am right here in a single man studio, and you have the ability to expand from live streaming to recording to live events to creating a studio, a post-production studio with DaVinci Resolve nonlinear editing, to the playback aspect pumped back in through the ATEM system. You have the ability to create a Fairlight audio recording and editing suite. And people that are working with the ATEM, and the same thing for coloring and the camera control, when they start out on the lesser priced versions of the ATEM switchers, they then have the ability to just walk straight into the expanded abilities of your studio. And so, to me, that aspect of the ATEM ecosystem at this point in time is really second to none. And while the Rodecaster video is going to be for some people, if that's what they want to do, they just want to be their one-man band, and they already have the ability to integrate the Rodecaster Pro 2 or the Duo or the X into the Rodecaster video, and that will be good for them, then that might be the solution for you. But if you want to expand in other ways into larger studio venues that I've explained, then obviously the Rodecaster video is not an ATEM killer. It simply is not. And so that is just something that I want to leave with you at that point. So if you actually enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, I ask that you on YouTube and Rumble that you like and subscribe. That will help me out. If you want to look at these products on particularly the ATEM, if you want to look at them, I have links below for Adorama. I'm an affiliate of Adorama. You can go there. They have the absolute best 0% financing that I use, and it's the easiest to manage. Just follow the link and go there. And also, I would like to encourage you to take a look at my Etsy store and check out all of my products that I have on Etsy. And from what I have, as you can see on the picture there, crossword puzzles, cutting boards, coffee mugs, cell phone holders, and I'm missing something. I can't think. But I have that store that you can shop at, and all those products feature my landscape video or my landscape pictures that I take when I'm traveling, and I create products around my landscape pictures. That would help me out as well. And as Christmas and Thanksgiving are beginning to roll around, maybe you'll find yourself a neat Christmas present there on my Etsy store. So with that, I thank you for joining me. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comment sections of YouTube and Rumble, and also feel free to chit chat or whatever, and I will do my best to interact with you. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you get the best out of this video and that you make the absolute best decisions for you and your channel. Take care.